Hey guys, I'm back, and this is going to be part 2 of my favorite childhood movies. I've got a lot more movies to show off in this video, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. And the first movie I'm going to talk about is another TV, or an adaptation of a classic TV show, and this is The Little Rascals. And yeah, this was one movie that my cousin used to have. And one thing that's funny is that I actually saw this video before I even knew what the Little Rascals, the black and white show was. I saw this movie back when I was really young, and this was what I've always pictured the Little Rascals as. You know, you got Alfalfa, Spanky, Darla, you know, and this was the gang that I've always liked the most. Even in the classic Little Rascals TV show, these were, you know, the characters that I liked the most out of all of them. But I do like the classic, you know, you know, Our Gang comedies and the you know, the classic short films. Next one is called Blank Check. And I forget all the details about this, but it's basically about this kid that gets like $1 million, and there's all these people that are coming after him because $1 million is actually stolen. And it's kind of a funny movie. I say you know, it's just a good family film right here. It's a pretty funny one. I haven't watched this movie in a really long time, so I don't remember, you know, everything about it. But yeah. Now, the next movie I'm talking about is definitely one of my favorite, like, family films, childhood movies. This is definitely in my top 10, you know, favorite family films. George of the Jungle with Brendan Fraser. I absolutely love this movie. You know, it's basically, I guess you could say a live-action version of Tarzan, and it's a really great movie. One of Disney's best movies, in my opinion. I absolutely love this one. Yeah, this is, like I said, one movie that I've grown up watching. Is definitely just a, you know, favorite one. So George of the Jungle. Then we have a movie I don't hear a lot of people talk about, but it's called The River Pirates, and this is based on a book, I believe. And basically, just these kids, and they're growing up in the Mississippi Delta in the it doesn't say the date. I want to say maybe the 40s, maybe. Oh no, it takes place along, you know, in that certain time period, and it's you know, a story about these kids. They live near a swamp in the Mississippi, and they believe there's a witch that lives in this old house, and the witch is played by Anne Ramsey, and this is actually her final film, the last movie she was in. And yeah, it's a pretty good one. If you've seen the movie My Dog Skip, this movie is My Dog Skip is based off of this movie, because it has the same character, Willie, what was his last name? Willie Morris, who also wrote the book that this film's based on. But yeah, it's a pretty good movie right there. This next one is a full moon movie, and it's called Remote. And it's basically about this kid who's kind of like this nerd character, and he has all these toys and things like that. Like he has you know, toy airplanes and stuff, and toy dolls and stuff that he controls with the remote. And he believes that there are burglars hiding out in this empty house across the street. And it's kind of like Home Alone in some way. He uses the toys and everything to set up traps for them and get them hurt and stuff. And it's a pretty good movie. You know what to expect from Full Moon, and it's a really good movie, I must say. Now, this next movie, I actually used to rent. There was a small little convenience store right down the street from my house, and it was just a really small store. It was away from all the other, like, say, bigger stores down, like, the Main Street Road of my town. And the small store used to have, it was called the Dilly Dally, and it used to have these video rentals that were there, just a couple of movies, and this was one movie that I rented from them, and it's The Adventures of Pinocchio with Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Martin Landau. And of course, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, you know him, he played what was his name? He was in Home Improvement. And yeah, this was just one movie that he did. It's a live action version of Pinocchio, and I think it's a pretty good movie. There's a few scenes that I must say are kind of spooky for little kids, but other than that, it's a pretty good movie. And I like the the cover art that changes stuff. I like stuff like that. The next one is one movie I'm sure everyone's seen, so I'm not even going to talk about it. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I mean, we can say this is a true classic movie right here. Then we have another movie that stars Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Brad Renfro, and it's Tom and Huck. And it's basically just a story about, Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, and they live in the Mississippi, and this guy named what's his name? Injun Joe, he comes into town and he ends up murdering someone, and they witness it, and one of their friends, one of Tom and Huck's friends, ends up getting blamed for the murder, and it's a pretty good movie. I must say that the scene when the murder happens, it doesn't show it in detail, but it does show a bit more than what I would expect from a family film. But so if if you want to show this to your kids, I'd recommend watching it first if you have kids. But still, it's a pretty good movie. The next one stars Patrick Swayze, Scott Glenn, and Oliver Platt. Tall Tale: The Unbelievable Adventure. It's basically about this boy, Daniel, when he travels back to the time of, Pecos Bill, Paul Bunyan, and John Henry. And it's basically just him trying to save his father's farm, and his father ends up getting shot and almost getting murdered, and he, needs to save his farm in some way. It's a pretty good one. This is another Disney movie, and it's a really good one, I must say. This is one movie that I remember when it first came out. I was really young, and I used to think it was one of the coolest movies that when it first came out. Spy Kids. I don't know if anybody, I know that they kind of got silly with, Spy Kids 3D, but the first one was actually a pretty good movie, I must say. I think it was a great family film. It's got a lot of good action, it was a really entertaining one. I really liked it. Next one is another one I'm sure everyone has seen, Free Willy. Just a true character about, the boy. He's kind of a rebel, getting into trouble, and then he almost drowns, and the Willy, he saves him, and the boy and the whale end up becoming friends. I'm sure everybody has seen this movie. It's definitely a classic family film right here, Free Willy. Then we have First Kid from Sinbad, and this movie is about this young kid who's he's the president's son, and Sinbad gets a job being his bodyguard, and the whole movie is Sinbad trying to help the kid. He's awkward at school. He's kind of a geek at school, and he gets bullied a lot, so Sinbad helps him with that. He's also got a crush on a girl that he wants to take her out dancing, so Sinbad helps him out. There's even one scene where Sinbad tries to teach the kid how to dance, and it's a pretty funny movie, I must say. I really like that one. And I like Sinbad's acting. I know he hasn't really done anything else, but except for Jingle All the Way, I think is another one that he's in. But I've always liked Sinbad. Now, this is probably one movie that I think everyone has seen as well. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. About Rick Moranis. He's an inventor, and he's got all these failed inventions until one day he creates a shrink ray, and he ends up shrinking his kids, and his kids get lost in the in their backyard, and of course the grass is so much taller than they are, so they get lost. There's the one kid who becomes friends with an ant, and it's just a really funny movie. Good family film. I don't think I've seen. It's either the second one. I think I saw the second one. I have not seen the third one, Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. But, yeah, this is a really good one. Next one is, I got two Macaulay Culkin movies, because as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of Macaulay Culkin. The first one also stars Ted Danson, and it's Getting Even with Dad. And this is a really, really good one. Basically, Ted Danson, he's an ex-con. He went to jail for some years after he robbed. I forget what he robbed, but he tried to steal a lot of money with him and his two friends. And so he's been in jail throughout Macaulay Culkin's life, his entire life, and he's never been there for him. Well, one day, his Macaulay Culkin, he lives with his aunt now, and his aunt is going off on her honeymoon, and she drops Macaulay Culkin off at Ted Danson's house. Well, little does Macaulay Culkin know is that Ted Danson and his friends had actually just robbed these really, really rare, expensive coins that are worth a lot, and they hide them somewhere. And Macaulay Culkin finds out about them. His name's Timmy in the movie. He finds out about them, and what he does is that he hides them. And he basically tells his dad that he has to do everything that he says, and then he'll tell him where the coins are. And so he does different things, like basically what things that a father and a son would do. Like he takes them fishing, he takes them to a amusement park and stuff, and he basically just tells them, hey, if you do what you missed out on doing with me, if you take me out and have fun, I'll tell you where the coins are. And it's a really, really funny movie, I think. I really liked it, getting even with Dad. Next one is Richie Rich, and this is just another adaptation of a comic. Yeah, I think Richie Rich was started off as a comic strip, but it's Macaulay Culkin playing Richie, and it's basically about him and his parents, and they have, of course, all this money and stuff like that. And there's this guy who works for his father who's trying to steal all the money from this vault that they have, and it's a pretty good one. I really enjoyed it. The next one actually stars Shaquille O'Neal, and it's Kazaam, and it's basically about this kid who is this boy who's always getting in trouble at school and things like that, and he ends up getting a group of kids mad at him, and so they're chasing him through this old abandoned building, and when he gets there he accidentally kicks on a boombox, and out of the boombox there is Kazaam, who is a genie. And he used to live his entire life in a lamp, where the lamp got smashed, and now he lives in a boombox, and he raps and it's stuff like that. And since the young kid Max released him, he now has to do whatever Max tells him to do. And it's a pretty funny movie. I think I really enjoyed it. I like Shaq for the most part. I know he's not really doing much now except for those the skin oil or whatever it is, the skim cream commercials. That's really all I see him doing, but he was good in this movie. And the last movie I'm going to talk about is another really fun one. I remember being a little bit scared by this movie the few times I saw it. Jumanji, starring Robin Williams, rest in peace. Definitely a great movie. It's basically about the board game that, if you play it, whatever's in the game comes to life. And, it's just him and the two kids, Julie and Peter, going through it. It's also got Kirsten Dunst, and I think this was her first movie. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think everyone's seen it. I even had they made a toy board game based on the game in the movie, and I used to have it as well. But this is just a really great movie. I did read the book as well, I think in school at one point, and I thought the book was pretty good, but the movie is definitely one of my favorites. And again, Robin Williams is absolutely great, and Bonnie Hunt's also in this as well. And yeah, guys, I know I sort of sped through all these, but I was just trying to get as many movies as I could into one video. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed watching my these two videos of me talking about my favorite childhood movies. And like I said, these are movies that I grew up watching. They're movies that whenever I was in the mood to watch a good movie as a kid, these would be ones that I would turn to. And they all mean something to me. They all have a special place for me. Whenever I think about good, clean, family fun, good movies to watch with kids or whatever, these are ones that I always turn to. So, yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Let me know what you guys think about all the movies that I showed off in these two videos. And let me know what are some of your favorite family films. I'm really interested in that. Anyway, guys, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I hope everybody's keeping warm, and I'll see you guys later.